He is carrying a failing marriage, or a crushing financial strain, or a level of burnout that makes getting out of bed feel physically heavy. And he hasn't told anyone. Not his wife, not his parents, not his closest friend. He is carrying it entirely alone. And if you ask him how he is doing, his default automatic response will almost certainly be the same 3 words. Sub theek. Everything is fine. This silence is often praised in Indian culture as a stoic virtue, but holding everything inside until it crushes you is not strength. It is a specific, damaging psychological barrier. Psychology has a clinical term for this condition. It's called Alexithymia. Looking at the Greek root shown here, you can see it translates to a lack of words for emotions. When paired with a stoic mask, it creates a total disconnect between what a man experiences and what he can express. This creates a dangerous internal contradiction. If a man is experiencing intense psychological pain, but his mouth is constantly saying, "I'm fine," the emotional energy has nowhere to go. Men are not born with alexithymia. It is installed in them. It starts early, with phrases every Indian boy hears. Rona band karo, boys don't cry. Mard kodard nahi hota. On this neural map, a boy's emotion node fires. Conditioning intercepts it as a social threat. To protect him, the brain builds a wall, blocking external expression. He stops crying. Over decades, this barrier expands into a total internal blackout, permanently severing all emotional connections. He loses the internal vocabulary required to identify his own pain. The stoic mask becomes his permanent face. For an Indian man, admitting that his life is falling apart feels impossible, because it requires dismantling the only version of himself he knows how to be. Human emotions are governed by a kind of internal physics. You can suppress them, but they do not disappear. They convert. Unexpressed grief is trapped behind the wall of alexithymia, pooling together until pressure mounts. Unable to dissipate through tears, the brain mutates it. The pain forcefully vents outward into permitted secondary outlets: explosive anger, silent heavy drinking, or an obsessive compulsion to overwork. This is the conversion engine running in the background of millions of homes. The father working 15 hours a day is seen as diligent, but in reality, he is processing sadness he isn't allowed to feel. These destructive habits are not character flaws. They are the mathematical outcome of a lifetime spent never crying. The highest price an Indian man pays for this silence is rarely a sudden breakdown. The real cost is a life unlived. It is the tragedy of a man who worked hard, paid the bills, and never complained, who reaches the end of his life realizing that no one in his family ever truly knew him. He becomes a stranger even to himself, spending decades maintaining a hollow mask of a man that never actually existed. We have to change the definition of what it means to be a strong man. Strength is not the absence of pain. Real strength is the ability to acknowledge your pain, to look it in the eye, without letting it destroy you quietly from the inside out. The only place healing can begin is the moment you stop lying to yourself about being fine. If you are carrying a weight you haven't told anyone about, you now know why you are hiding it. And knowing the mechanics of the wall is the first step to dismantling it. Saying out loud that you are struggling isn't a failure. It is the most radical, powerful act an Indian man can perform.